diagrams. Now you don't have to use Venn diagrams, but to me it feels like the most tangible thing I can actually see what's going on. So if I have two events, A and B, why would I let them intersect?
Because we have because there's four. There's four with
Is there an and there?
there's four.
Okay, so B and not A. What does that mean? If I look at, for instance, if I do let them intersect, and I say B, but not A, what am I actually telling you? Just the B part. Then I'm only telling you that B was 0,3 though. So 0,3 comes there. But if they tell me that B and not A, what does and mean? It's where they intersect. So where is B? Where is not A? Are you with me? So they intersect each other. So there's various ways of thinking about it. Okay, but let's see. So the OR part tells me that it's 0,59. So what is OR on the sketch? Everything added together. In a Venn diagram, it's different. OR means you add all three of those together. And means you look at what's in the intersection. So if they tell me OR 0,59, it means that this plus this must add up to 0,59. What I physically do have is a 0,3. What else do I have?
0,19.
The 0,19 tells me something about B, but not A. And that's where they intersect each other. So is that this piece here? B and the not A's must intersect. Okay, let's have a look, because I don't feel like I've got enough information. So then my go-to usually is, let's make this X. How does that help me? Because now at least I've got 0,3 there. What does that help me? Okay, we've got the 0.19 here. That means, no, sorry, what's that? 0.59. That means A or B. Add must give you 0,59. Are you with me? Put away that cell phone. So when I add them together, it must give me 0.59. I could figure it out. Because I already know that this whole thing is 0,3. So if it's 0,3 plus what? Will give you 0.59. Can you just see it happening? So that would be 0.29. But if it makes better sense to you, make it something like a y, and I never promote using x and y and all the alphabet letters eventually to solve them. That's not a good idea. But if I said y plus x plus 0,3 minus x, all of that must add up to 0,59. What happens here is that falls away. Like I said, you could have just said 0,3 and something must be 0.59. That's exactly what's happening here. Y 0,3 must be 0,59. So that y PC there must be 0.29. So if you had done it the way I just said it and just got to that answer of 0.29, by just writing it there, it would most probably have been worth 2 marks. Because it's a lot of work, whether you do it with an equation or whether you do it with thinking logically, it's fine. Okay? So now at least I know what that is, and I can say, okay, I've got that. Now I know that all of them together must be 0.59, that's fantastic. But now what is the B and A? No, sorry, not A. Where's the B? B is 0,3, are you with me? That's the B. Where's the not A? Also B. But what about here? Shouldn't there be something outside as well? And how do I know that? Because you know that all of them added together gives you 0,59. That means that this must be 0,41 to make up my sample space of 1 for all the probabilities added up together here. So 0.29, the x, that one, I still don't know the x, guys, I still don't know the x, but we're going to get there just now. I still haven't used the fact that 0.19 is when I do what? Where are Again, let's say B and not A. Where's not A? Where's the and part? And is where I take my fingers, what I just did now, and I put it there twice.
B.
So this is B. This is not A. Where's my hands both times? 0.3 minus if x is equal to 0.90. That's the whole thing about and. I haven't left enough space, but let's do it here. So B and not A is equal to 0.19. Now how do I get to this answer? Because after getting this, it's easy. Just to solve x. But how did I get there? B is where? Not, and remember it's and, so I'm looking for the intersection. And is the intersection. That's B. That's not A. Where's the intersection? And that answer is equal to 0.1. Now, did you find it with me now? So then I've got x is equal to 0.11. So this x should have been 0.11, meaning that this will then be 0.19. Am I right? To add up to 3. And everything should now add up to 1 just to make sure all my stuff is right there. Then I can answer any question. Probability of A. 0, 4. Because you add them together would be 0, or eventually I get there that the probability of A would be 0, 4. And then the question, after all of that, how many marks for this? Not just one. Because how did I get this? With a lot of things that I had to do, because it would be around about 4 marks. Proving that 2 events are independent. How does that work? What's the rule that you're going to get a mark for? Left hand side would be A and B. And the right hand side would be look at the P of A times the P of B. Because if these two are equal, they are independent. If they're not, they are not independent, right? So what is the and part? Everything comes from there now. What is the A times B? Now I've got A is 0.4, I just got it. The B was 0.3 and the answer is 0.12. Yes, like that's so close, but 11% is not 12%. It's not exactly the same, so that's why A and B are not independent for that question. Right. Okay, the Venn diagram from yesterday, let's see if you got it right. It started off and said, a survey is done on the technological devices that teenagers own. 150 teenagers were surveyed and the following results were obtained. So the easiest part was, is 150. A grade 10 question said yesterday somewhere, 4,000 survey letters was given out. Question is, 1,500 came back and the following results were achieved. So what's my S? Not 4,000. I gave out 4,000 questionnaires, but they only brought back, typically like when we give you stuff to go along with, only 1,500 came back. So that would have been 1,500, not 4,000. Interesting one that could have maybe hurt you a little bit. Okay. Then they wanted to know who owns cell phones, who owns tablets, who owns laptops. So first of all, we said yesterday, there's got to be 3 circles. For a cell phone, for a tablet, and for a laptop. Now, one of the first, okay, let me not say that right now. Then they said 125 own cell phones. What does that mean? 125 goes here. On the outside of the circle. Because I don't know, of the 125, who also owns a tablet, who also owns a laptop, who, whatever. 47 own tablets, and 58 own laptops. Then yesterday we did already go through all of this, and I want to just mention it again. If you just read as it is, 40 own cell phones and tablets. Cell phones and tablets is here, right?
Yeah.
Both of them. If 40 of them own both of them, it's both there and there. So 2020. No, I don't know. But don't make the mistake of saying it's there. If they say they own a cell phone and a tablet, does that mean that they don't own a laptop? Unless they especially said it specifically. They own cell phones and tablets but not a laptop. Then I'm going to put it here. And also a laptop, then I would have put it there. But you need to make sure that you listen to the English very particularly. Then they also said 50 of them own cell phones and laptops. Cell phones, laptops, that means 50 there. They could also have a tablet. 35 own tablets and laptops. 35 of them there. I don't know which goes where. Who also owns a cell phone? And then eventually, and this is what I want to emphasize now with this example, eventually they said 30 own cell phone, laptops, and tablets. If I had started there, my life would have been so much easier. And that's where we basically stopped yesterday. Are you with me? So, suggestion. Take your question, if it's these type of questions, and they've got all this information, and read the whole thing. Because the last bit of information was actually going to make my life so much easier if I had read the whole thing, then went back and said, okay, well, if that's 30, and they told me that was 40, then this must be 10. If this must be 50, then this must be 20. But very careful, if they say that he owns a cell phone and a laptop, that doesn't exclude the tablet. Unless they say, and not a tablet. And the same thing here, so there's 5 short over there. Are you with me? Can I complete the whole Venn diagram? How? Wait. Okay, so in every circle it has to add up to 125 for this one. So what am I short? 65. Thank you. Over here, I've already got 45, so I'm short?
2.
I've already got 55, so I'm short?
3.
And is that it? Check if that adds up to 150. Because shame, there could be somebody that doesn't have either one of those.
Yeah.
It was taken away because of the bad June exams. How many were outside here? 15 of those naughty kids that didn't study for June exam. Don't have anything anymore. Okay, now for that, how many marks? 4. Can be 8. Okay, can be 4 at least. 4. But it could have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 marks. Can I give you this Venn diagram as is and then ask you the questions that's going to follow now?
Yes.
Yep. All of the variations. Or give you half of it and give you a few and say, okay, this was now A and B, find me A and B, like that. Different ways that I can ask you. Questions were, first of all, number B1, how many own only cell phones?
65.
Do you agree? And if you answer like that in the exam, it's perfect. I would like to just take a look at the notation. It would have been the number of people that have cell phones. But is that correct? No, that would have been 125. I would have had to say only cell phones. That's a difference. Okay, but the way I'm writing it is not important. How many of the teenagers own a cell phone and a laptop, but not a tablet? Very specific. So they want the number to have a cell phone and a laptop and not a tablet. Now that's very mathematical. Why do I write it that way? Because could this have been the question in the question paper? Exactly right, written like that. I'm just saying find. So you've got to know it's the number of people that have a cell phone and a laptop and not a tablet. Cell phone and a laptop, but not a tablet, is 20. If you only wrote 20, perfect, full marks. Third one, exactly one of the 3 devices. Exactly one of the 3 is which ones? 65, 2, and 3. And is that not a good idea to write? So that if you made a chomorshi here, and it's not right, but whatever's there and there and there, you're adding over here, then it's easy for the marker to give you extra marks. And that gives you?
70.
So 70 of them have exactly one of the devices. Number 4, how many of the kids have exactly 2 of the 3? Which would be 10, 20, plus 5, giving me 30. 5. At least one of the 3 devices. At least one of the devices.
65 plus 10 plus 2 plus 30 plus 5 plus 3 plus 20.
All of that is perfectly correct. At least one. He's got 1. He's got 2. He's got 3. Is that at least one?
Yes.
So isn't it easier then to say everybody except? Different ways of thinking about it. So how many of them would have been? 150 minus the 15. Any which way you do it, you got to the 135. So if you had said plus, 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 everything inside the circles, you would have also gotten to 135. Probabilities is the next section. If one teenager is selected from the group, what is the probability? Now, he's not selected and taken away, so there's now 149 left. Listen carefully. He's selected at random. That's what we normally do with probability. If I say, take a card, take a ball, take a whatever, what's the probability? If one teenager is selected, it's not I'm taking him away and there's 149 left. What is the probability that he will have none of the devices? See, 15 over 150. So if anywhere over here you wrote it over 150, you were wrong. I'm asking for how many. If over here you write 15, you're wrong, because it's got to be over 150 because it's probability. And that would give you 1 over 10. We just always like to simplify. Probability of at least 2 of the devices. At least 2 of the devices means 2 and 3. So for probability, it will definitely be out of 150. And guys, that would probably be a mark for knowing it's out of 150. At least 2, so that would be the 20, the 10, and the 5, but also the 30, because 3 of the devices is also at least 2. Okay, and that gives me, what is it? Which is how much? 13 over. Okay, I'm believing in you guys. At most 2 of the devices. Let's be careful here. At most 2. So it's not this guy, because he's got 3. Is it these?
Yes.
At most 2, at most 2, at most 2?
No.
Yep. It's at most 2. 1 is also at most 2. What about these?
9.
Yep. That's at most. At the very most, he must have 2. This one? Yep, it is. So, in other words, actually it's everything except for 30. So if I wanted to write 150 minus the 30 over 150, then I'm actually quite impressed with you that you thought it's everything. So there's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. But don't forget about them. They also have at most. Okay, and that answer would be 120 over 150 is 4 over 5. I want you to do for me exercise 4 on the next page. Take it 3, 5, 3. I want you to do number 8 for homework, guys. It's going to take you 10 minutes. Thank you.